Welcome to Gemstone Podcast. My name is Lance Parker and I go by LP. I have Zack with me today, who is always with me. We're very excited about today's episode. Please go follow our podcast on Spotify Anchor. Go to our page and click follow. Please go to our IG account and follow our Instagram at Gemstone Podcast. Now we're gonna start off with today's episode with Shy with story time. Now I ain't gonna really get into it. I'm gonna let Shy take it all the way because this story is very, very interesting.
All right, y'all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are in the world. So basically my topic is false prophets. Now, I have had my experience with false prophets throughout my life. But in my adult life, I am seeing, as a kid, you could feel the energy when someone is not genuinely who they are. But as an adult, you really get to like see it and really get to understand what it truly is. So, a quick definition, a false prophet is someone who claims to have a gift of prophecy or divine inspiration or to speak of God. Also, um, but does so falsely or for evil purposes, right? Um, and another thing is some someone that is a person does categorize himself as an apostle. And if you don't know, apostle is someone that believes they were appointed by God to teach his ministry, to educate, to be a servant of the Lord, basically. So guys, I am single. Been single for about a little over a year now. And so I started kind of earlier this year. I kind of started getting back in the dating world, seeing what's out there. So there's a popular spot out here. I won't say the name, but if you from Houston, Texas, and you know a place where you can get a martini and you can be good, then you know what I'm talking about. And if you get two martinis and you're really good, and if you get three, you probably gonna need your Uber home. So if you're from Houston, you know exactly where I'm talking about. And it's an OG spot. It's a older gentleman, very attractive older gentleman at the bar. And so I ordered my drink and he said, "What you drinking? That looked like chocolate milk." And so I was like, it's a basically a espresso with like a cream liqueur in there. And it was really good. And he said, from there we started conversating. So anyways, my friend ends up going home and I stayed like maybe about 20 minutes after her and we having great conversation. We're talking about business things. He told me he's a multiple business owner. He has a nonprofit organization. He's trying to develop a home, basically a dorm style living for kids that are currently homeless in the Houston area. And it's kind of like if you know about the Knowles and the Tazino house. You know about that? It's basically the same kind of concept where you would have two young people living in like a dorm style living that are maybe displaced from ICE or homeless or orphan or they phased out of the system, like, so it would be for those people. So I was like, wow, that's really, really great. And he also told me he was divorced. He's been divorced like 7 years, and they just grew apart, yada yada yada. But certain things in the conversation were red flags that I just wasn't paying attention to because honestly, when I meet men, I don't be like, oh, that's my husband. Oh, this is it. Even though I want a husband, I don't just automatically jump out the gate and be like, oh, that's my husband. That's my husband. I don't do that. I'm just listening to the man. I'm just having a casual conversation. So amongst the first conversation, he's telling me about a lady he was dating and she's into swinger clubs. And I was like, okay, that's a random topic to bring up. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then he mentions that he enjoys going in the back door. So I'm like, that's a little random as well. Because I'm not a back door type of girl. I'll be honest with you. I don't even have a tattoo. So that tell you right there, I don't like pain. So, like, okay, Mister, we're gonna call him Mister Daniel. Okay, Mister Daniel. I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. Anyways, next topic. Because I ain't one of them kind of girls, you're not going to suck me into a topic. So I said, so I'm getting ready to leave. He's like, well, let me walk you to your car. He said, what you want to leave so quick for you? He said, your glass slipper is falling. I'm like, nah, I gotta work in the morning. So anyway, so he walked me to my car. We talked outside of my car for another 20, 30 minutes. This man would not let me go. And I'm like, okay, okay. I'm trying to get in the car. Now he wants to hug and all of that. So cool. Before he walks off, okay, so if you know the place I'm talking about, there's a white wall, and most people park along that wall on the parking lot. I'm facing the wall with my back of my car to the building. He rams his body against the wall. Like, you know how you throw yourself against the wall? He rams his body against the wall. He like, oh girl, I don't know. You don't know what you do to me. You don't know what to do to me. And I say, all right. And I just drive off. And I drive off, he's still against the wall. I'm like, oh, this older man is really weird. So anyway, excuse me, y'all. So fast forward, a few days pass by, and he's like, I'm not gonna make this story too long, y'all. But fast forward a couple days later,
Nah, nah,
he
nah.
we
Tell your story, the whole story. We want to hear it all. One question I want to ask
okay,
you right now, because I know the crowd is like me. We got some questions to get in.
okay. So mind you, let me throw this out there. One of his businesses is a legal service, right? He does notary, he does a couple other things. Other thing is a nonprofit. And his last business is something that we're gonna get into at the end of the story. Because this man is a hustler and not in a good way. So, anyways, we're texting and stuff, and he's like, when are you free? Blah blah blah. Now let me just throw this out there. I'm 31 years old. I really don't even like older men, but it just, it was the kind of thing. I like this conversation. He seemed like he's very knowledgeable. Like I thought he was like a knowledgeable businessman, basically. But I really don't even like older men like that. And I mean older, like, so he told me he was 48. So mind you, I kind of, because when he was telling me certain things and people that he knew, there's another bar out here that's owned by a young lady that's a little older than me. She's like a year or two older than me, but her dad helped her open the bar, and it's a very popular bar. I know her dad is in his like middle 50s, so I'm like, you know him, the other old player, these is old, these a bunch of old players from the Himalayas. You know all the old players. I'm like, you might be around their age, but we'll get to that later. So anyway, so he's like, when are you free? And I tell him I'm free on Thursday or Wednesday, whatever day. He's like, well, let's go to Razoo's, restaurant Razoo's. I'm like, cool. Razoo's is on my way home from work. I tell him I will be close to that area about 4:30. Boom, I get to Razoo's. He's already there. He's always on time, early. He's already there. He greets me. We sit down and talk. So conversation was great once again at the start. Then he started going into all this freaky stuff. So he started talking about this lady again who was at the swingers parties, how he was dating her, and she took him around. And they was mad at him because they couldn't hit that no more because he was with her now. And I'm like, so Mr. Daniel, are you into swingers clubs? Because I mean, this is our second or no, we talked on the phone. We talked on the phone before we met up again. This is our third conversation, and this is the third time you mentioned swingers club. So this is what you into, mind you. He admits to me that he used to have a thing for anal. He likes it from the back door. And he threw it out there, and a lot of times, like, you gotta pay attention to certain things. A lot of times men will throw out little things to check your temperature on it, to see what you like or what you into and things like that. So he said that, I'm the kind of person, I kind of, when I'm dating, I kind of have a poker face. You don't even really know what I like or what I don't like. You have to figure it out. So he's like, oh, I'm like, oh, really? Wow. I'm like, that's interesting. And I'm just eating my food and just let him talk. And another thing, he likes to. When we went to Razoo's, he wanted to sit next to me on the side of the booth with me. I said, no, go sit on that side because I don't want we arm in arm, and I'm a big girl. I don't need to be we arm in arm. I want to have room to eat my food. I don't want you all over me. You know what I'm saying? That's just my thing. So he sits, and the conversation goes pretty damn explicit. And he starts telling me that he ain't been with a woman in a while and all these things, and he horny basically. And I say, as I say, it's things you can do to help with that. Like you can go, you can find a woman on this and that. You can I said, all these women out here, and mind you, he's an older gentleman, and older women be freaky too. So it's like he's not hard to find some sex. Like that's not hard. So, but it's just like he was the type of person that went from we're talking about, oh, this catfish is good, this catfish is real good. Like, oh, I bet you taste better. Like he every chance he gets to throw something in there that's sexual, he throw it in there, boom, boom, boom. So at the Red Zoos, I was like, you know what, I ain't even talking to this man no more. This man is weird. And then it's the anal thing, right? And it's the mentioning of anal, 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 anal. Oh my! So after the Razoo's date, we get out in the parking lot. He like, you want to sit in my car? You want to? And I'm like, no, I don't want to sit in your car. I'm tired. I'm gonna go home. Blah 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 blah. And he was like, okay, well, this and that. So he wants a hug, and he has a very, what do you call it, PDA? I'm not really a PDA type of girl either, but he's very much a PDA. He wants to touch on you, rub on you, hug on you, all that good stuff. So I give him a hug, I depart ways. So after that, I figured, he wanted to get me in the car because he wanted to touch me and feel me. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to hell home. So after that, and a couple more days passed by. Now we're in the third week. He hits me up, how you been? He was like, I know I haven't heard from you. And so that week I actually went to my cousin's graduation in Fort Worth. So I was like, oh, well, yeah, I was gone for the weekend, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, you back now, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah. So then he tells me, well, let's go to this place called Vino and Vinyl. And first mine was like, nah, I don't want to go. Then I was like, you know what? I haven't been there before. And if you know me, I'm a sucker for a wine bar. I love wine tasting. I was like, oh, I've been want to go there for a long time. So cool. I told him, all right, great. So I said, okay, cool, I'll come or whatever. I said, but you're gonna have to behave yourself. And he was like, all right, I'm gonna behave myself. I won't grab your booty, or not grab your booty, but I won't say nothing about blah blah blah. Okay, so I get to the Vino and Vinyl place, and I wear glasses. I didn't even see him walking over. He approaches me from the opposite direction, and the first thing he does is grab my booty, and he like grab it. Mind you, I have on like these little chiffon kind of, not chiffon, but like that little flowing material kind of pants, and he like, oh girl, 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 oh that girl, 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 girl. And I was like, your ass too big to be eight. I say, what? I say, my ass too big to be eight. Who was talking about eating that? I said, okay, Mr. Dan. Okay. So clearly he's an ass eater as well, but he's telling me my ass too big to be eight. So I don't know if I'm offended or if I'm like, I don't know. So we go into Vino and Vinyl, and he tells me, oh yeah, I love this place. I've been here several times. So basically he takes his women there. So we get in there. No, Daniel is not his real name. Daniel's his name I'm coming up with. So we get in there, and of course he wants to sit on the same side as me as well. Now this is a wine bar, so there's not no big tables in here. They're like coffee size booths and tables. So we're smashed on this one side. Like I said, I'm a big girl. So and he's more of an athletic built with he's kind of he's not slim, but he has shoulders. Like he has some wide shoulders. He has muscles. So we stuffed on the side. And so we sit there, and he's saying he likes his plays, blah, blah, blah. And we're sitting there, and he has like his sweatpants on, and we're talking and stuff. And he's like, girl, you just don't look what you did to me. And he reaches down and open his pants and show his in the restaurant. He shows his penis, his penile. And it's erect and it's hard and you know what I mean, like it's a mushroom head. It's a mushroom head. It's hard. It's curved. It's nice. It's nice now. Don't get it. It was nice, but so you want to go to jail? Put that away. So I know what y'all thinking, Shiny. Why you ain't get up and leave? I ain't get up and leave. So the waiter come over, and the waiter comes over in a 2 second mark before the dick go back in the pants. Had the waiter would have moved a little bit faster, he'd have seen this man there. And I'm like, you trying to get me put in jail? Like, because so he comes over and we both order some wines and some prosecco's, and I get a charcuterie board and he gets some garlic shrimps and all that stuff. So we order a whole spread of shit. And so it's like he has a switch. He switched back into, I guess, normal mode. So how was your day? Blah blah blah. And my day was good. He was like, yeah, my day was pretty good. You know, we were looking at buildings for this nonprofit, and he was going over different stuff. He likes to talk. He likes to talk about himself too. He's talking, he likes to talk about himself. So I learned that he's from Houston. So originally I thought he wasn't from Houston, but he's actually from Houston. But he lived away from Houston for a while because he's in the military. So we're talking and stuff and all that stuff, and he go right back into the anal sex. And he's like, "Ooh, I would love to put it in your," and all this stuff. And do you do this and do you do that? Would you ride that dick, ride that dick? That's what he's like. Like he talks like that, and I'm like, oh my god. So I'm just finishing my security board and all that, and I say, there's a website you can go to that you can. He said he told me he doesn't know how to pleasure himself with lotion or nothing like that because he don't do that. I'm like, yo, know how to jack off. I don't give a damn what you're talking about. You know how to do that. I said, well, go to this website because he told me, he said Pornhub is banned. So I'm guessing Pornhub was his favorite site. And he was like, I said, yeah, Pornhub is banned in Texas, but you can go to X and X. We gonna say the whole name. You can go to that website and you can watch the free porn. And so he opens his phone once again. He goes to the website, BBW anal or something like that. BBW anal, BBW dominatrix. So I'm like, there you go. It's a pleasure. It's a million videos on here with anal BBW, blah blah blah, that you can watch. You can watch them all night. And he's like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like that's how he talks. So anyway, so we're finishing up, and we're getting ready to check, and he switches back again. So he's like, so what about your business? I have a business. He was like, I can help you market your business. He was like, we have an office over here on so and so. You can come by there, bring some business cards. Have a lot of my clients I do professional paperwork with that could, be a tax client for you, blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay, cool. So that was the real reason why I connected with him anyway, because he was talking business. That was the original reason why. So we go into that and stuff, and so we leave or whatever. He walked me to my car. Mind you, he parked on the opposite side. So and that's like, he strategically parked on the opposite side. He's like, can you drive me to my car? And I'm like, okay, I'll drive you to your car. And so I drive him to his car, and he was like, we're not gonna spend more time together. We ain't gonna I just want to talk for a second. So I was like, all right, I'll talk. And so me and him started talking. I got in his truck. We're talking and stuff like that. And here we go again. The switch go off again. He opened his phone up. He was like, what's that site again? He goes to the side. He was like, come on, let's. He's like, come on, let's just get in the back seat. Or let's just, a girl, ooh, girl, I'm putting it. Oh, girl, I'm putting it. Like, girl, he kept saying like, and I said, I'm about to go home. I start opening the door, and before I was just looking in disbelief, this man then pulled out his penis. He then started to jack it off. And I said, I told him, I said, I can't believe you're this turned on from a conversation. I just blew my mind. And he's, oh, you gonna leave me hanging. Girl, oh, girl. And he just started hitting it. Boom, 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 boom. We are at First Colony Mall in Sugar Land, Texas, that area. First Colony Shopping Center. So he hitting it. So I drive the hell on my leave. And so I'm driving the parking lot. This man is our driver of the parking lot. He come around a little loop back to the light. He's still there. His head is all the way back. And I'm assuming that he hit his ecstasy. So I'm telling my friend and stuff. And so some just say Google him, right? So I Googled his business. I didn't really find much about that. I found, well, she already told me where the office was at. So I already knew where it was at. So I ended up looking on the link, And come to find out, this man is a pastor. He's a pastor, an apostle, somebody that believes they were ordained, appointed by God Himself to preach the gospel to His people. This man is an apostle. This man has a church. It's a small church, but it's a church. It's in Third Ward on that. It's in Third Ward. And he goes live on Facebook like every other morning, does prayer and morning prayer and prays for the people. And so I go to his Facebook page and he's praying and he's Lord and all this stuff. And I'm like, you've been laying cum filled hands on the people in the ministry. He's a 69 guy. He's a freak. And I just made my thing like, how many women come to your church looking for blessings and looking to be saved? And we got false prophets like you out here speaking the word of God, laying it low and spreading it wide. You doing you, and I mean, and then literally he got his grandkids. So mind you, he's not 48 like you said. So imagine how many women he's laying his, how many nuts that he bust in the parking lot, and coming back in the building and laying his hands on the women and the children's. And it makes me scared for the younger girls too, because if you're that horny like this, you're willing to bust off at a parking lot full of children and families. What won't you do? What won't you do? And then it made me wonder about this community center he's trying to develop. It made me feel like you're not in this because you care about these children. You're in this for the money. You're because he told me, he said the state of Texas is paying $8,000 per child. $8,000 per child. And that's a 2-bedroom apartment. Let's say he got 60 apartments with 2 kids per apartment, getting $8,000 on average. Apartment in Houston plus light bill on it is probably around $2,000, something like that. 2,100, something whatever it's around. So you're baby, you can be pocketing probably at least about half of that money, probably $3,000 to $4,000 per unit. You're gonna be in your pocket, and you and your investors. So I just made me think like, wow, it's some false prophets out here. And it's really the world is messed up, y'all. You gotta get right with God. And one thing I'm gonna say before I end my segment, do not play with God. You gotta stop playing with God. You cannot be out here being nasty, freaky ass nigga. He is 69 guy. You cannot be out here doing this and but preaching the word and calling yourself an apostle and praying over people and telling people that you are appointed by Christ. You are appointed by the Elohim. You are appointed to serve his people, but you're not. You're a false prophet. You are not appointed by God. You're appointed by the devil. And a sexual devil at that. Because your ass horny. Your ass horny. You ready to have sex anywhere. And you're a grown man, and you should not be that horny at no 50-something years old. Like, you could be horny, but not to the point where you can't even make it home without trying to bust off. So, it's just like, God don't play. And y'all out there, if you preaching the word but living differently, God is going to get you. And God going to handle your butt. God going to get you. You cannot be out here doing that. So, yeah, I haven't heard from him since then. And I ain't talked to him since then. And don't plan on talking to him. Mind you, I haven't been back to that martini bar either. But I ain't talking to him because it's really sickening. But anyways, y'all, that was my story.
You might as well keep your mic on because there's gonna be some open-ended questions. You're gonna be talking a lot. So go ahead and keep that mic.
Okay.
Oh, he
I
was
fell out
laughing
the
all
chair,
day.
man. I fell out my chair, man. But she said that man was in the car. Said, "Oh, baby." He's a predator. He uses his knowledge and his wisdom that he has around businesses because he sounds like a very successful business entrepreneur in some type of ways. And it sounds like he's very smart too when it comes to making great economical decisions around business or business endeavors. So he's good. He's good in that aspect, and he uses that as a conduit to solicit his inappropriate behavior. And that's his segue to that. I'm pretty sure with most women he meets. I don't know this guy at all, and I could be wrong, but this is my opinion and my perspective. I'm pretty sure most women he meets, he follows with how successful he is as an entrepreneur, how successful he is when it comes to business development and financial development around economical sustainability and business endeavors. I'm sure that's how he leads off the. I'm still stuck on, and I hate I'm stuck on the restaurant whipping it out before the entrees get to the table. This man that whipped out his private area in the restaurant before dinner is served. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yep,
That's
he wanted to add some peanuts to the charcuterie board.
that's crazy.
I
This
see what you
man,
tried to do.
but on a serious note though, a lot of individuals who I ain't gonna say individuals. I'm gonna say there's been several cases um, when it comes to pastors, apostles, this clergy, anybody who's in clergy in the ministry with sexual misconduct. I mean, we see it a lot of times over there with the Roman Church. I think it's called the priest, or I think it's the Pope, priest or Pope, where they have been having sexual abuse to kids and for decades that's been going on, for decades and eons that's been going on. And I don't think it's no different when it comes to traditional churches, whether it be Southern Baptist or Pentecostal or traditional. I think they have the same thing, the same issues. And I think a lot of that comes from trauma. I'm pretty sure when he was a young kid, he probably had some type of sexual trauma or something take place in his life where he was exposed to something early on and he still never healed from it. He's just a 50-year-old damaged uh, adult who never got proper healing. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna say he's a false prophet. I don't know what he's taught about or what he's taught. I think God does use broken people. When we look at the Bible, a lot of the disciples were broken. Peter. You got to think about Paul. Paul was a Christian crusader who was killing Christians before he even became the one who wrote the most books in the Bible. I mean, he was coming after Jesus, trying to kill him, kill his disciples, kill them all. He was working with the Roman government, and then God kind of shed light on him, and he was presented with God's spirit. Then he went a different way. So I think God does use broken people, but they have to be fully healed in that brokenness and always lean on God to for that healing.
I think he's a false prophet because, for one, he's using religion as he's using that. He's not just preaching to the people and going on about his business and trying to persuade people to Christianity. He's not doing that. He's using this to attract women. He's using Christian faith for this nonprofit that he won't have to pay taxes if it's faith based. He's using these things to his advantage. You're not out here doing this because it's in your heart. You're using these things to your advantage. And he knows there's a lot of women around churches and places like that. Even the bar we were at, is a bar that most people go to after work. It's not a hood ratchet bar. It's a bar where people got nice vehicles. They get off of work. A lot of people. He had a suit on. He had on a blazer and a nice pair of pants. Like he was represented in that way because when I met him for dinner, he was dressed totally different. Like so, he's putting on a face, and I'm sure he probably goes there every other week doing the same shit.
Now, hold on now. I don't want to put the man all in the bucket 'cause I don't know the man. But is that more anger to the situation how he treated you and how the situation he did? Or do you really think that's how he is? Because I mean, he could have been coming from work or he could have been coming from some other thing.
Mm,
He is a businessman, so he can dress up nice some days, and then
yeah,
he just casually dress down for the date or whatever.
no, I'm not angry at him at all for I didn't came across horny people like him before. I'm not angry at him for that at all. My problem is if you go on this man's Facebook page, he's preaching against homosexuality. He's preaching against doing the wrong thing. He's preaching against all of these things that he is doing. Like so if you preaching about this on Facebook Live, what you telling the pulpit on Sunday? You doing the same thing. If you preaching about family and the strong family, he has a book coming out about picking the right partner for marriage, and he's divorced. He has a book, and that's not nothing wrong with it because when you divorce, you got a lot of knowledge on what happened. But you have a whole book about a spiritual marriage, like ordained by God, about picking the right partner, picking someone that like you have all of that going on, and you're selling this book, and even like I said, a lot of his Facebook sermons are about a lot of the same things that he's battling with. Like you're battling with sexual deviancy, you're battling with these same things that you're preaching and pointing a finger at on Facebook. And people will be in his comments on Facebook talking about something, preach, pastor, preach, pastor. That's right. They better get right with God. And he's doing the same thing. So that's my gripe with him. I got nothing against the man, but it's like, come on now, you need to come into the light and live what you're preaching about instead of pointing a finger at your congregation and the people that look to you for guidance. They're looking at you for guidance, but you got cum in your hands. It's not cool.
I agree with you saying, Shy. Um, but I add to it. I think that um, since he does struggle, but this is my thing. It's the fact that he's still operating in that contemporament, which is the problem. If he operated in it once before and has, moved from it, then I think you would have more respect for his teaching, his his contribution to the body of knowledge when it's surrounding following God and walking with Jesus Christ or God or whatever
Exactly.
is that. I think that's your gripe.
That's my
Uh,
point.
yeah, I think that's the point. And I agree. I don't know him. It's a very entertaining story because the simple fact that you in a car going in at 50 something years old is crazy. Then you in a restaurant and you done whipped out your penis is crazy. And talking about eating and partaking in anal sex is crazy because it seems like he's comfortable doing that. He's comfortable having these conversations. He's comfortable operating in that type of behavior. And it seems like he's not afraid of consequences. Now, what's going to happen, and I hate to say this about him because I don't want to put negative things in the atmosphere, but he's going to run across the wrong person. They're going to mace him, or they're going to tase him, or they're going to have some type of firearm and they're going to pop him because we're in that day and age where a lot of women this day and age and time have weapons on them to protect themselves. They have mace, they have pocket knives, they have pistols, they have this little what's the little thing? A little two-piece shooter pistols. They have things like that. He need to calm down. I'm being for real. He needs to calm down before he run across
You
the
do.
wrong one, and they've been them kneecapped him or popped him in the foot, hand, something like that, and he lose his life or be damaged or have some long lasting damage
Let
from
me
whatever done.
let me add this to it. So, okay, y'all see how bold he was sober, right? Imagine once he get a couple of cocktails in his system. Think about how bold he would be at the end of the night after he had, let's say, 4 or 5 drinks. You bold like this in broad daylight in a restaurant with children. Well, the blind bar didn't have no children, but the parking lot did. You this bold in public. It's 5 o'clock p.m. You this bold. It's not nighttime. It's not the panty dropping hours. So just imagine how bold he is at panty dropping hours. He might really not. He might really knock the chick out and take the pussy. Like you know what I'm saying? You that horny. And what would stop him if he had a little liquid courage, or he felt like nobody was looking, or he felt like
I think the scary thing is Zach, you can add on to this. I think the scary thing is that, like you said, what if you get liquid courage? But the scary thing to me is that you're in your late 50s and you're still operating like this. If you were in your early 30s, early 20s, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, he'd get a pass for sure if he was
You
like 21.
you in your late 50s, like you have lived half a century and you still are being very inappropriate when it comes to with women. And like I said, maybe he's never had no consequence. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's scary to me because that could have been real with you. That could have went left real quick. Um, and you're a woman at the end of the day, so I mean, I know it don't matter, how good your fight game is. It ain't most men gonna overpower a woman, no matter what. So that could have went real left real quick, if he decided to take it there. That's how I see it. For you to pull out your penis in a restaurant and then to go to a car, you bagged in and he both driving doors are facing each other, but it sounds like to me both driver doors are facing each other, and you didn't whipped it out. Oh girl, oh, come over here, let me put it in. Y'all going in. It's illegal. That's called indecent exposure. You can get a ticket to go to jail. So you so lost in the sauce when it comes to having your sexual desires met that you wouldn't risk a ticket or risk jail. Now, in not now recently in Tarrant County, I know a few pastors had to step down from their congregation from behavior just like this, from whether it be inappropriate acts with minors or just inappropriate sexual acts, period, in public places. And they had to step down from their congregation. I don't have to say no names. That's public record. It's already in the documented. It's already broadcasted by the news. And it went as far as with one pastor saying that it was a ring. He had his praise and worship leader. What did they say? Had his praise and worship leader uh, uh, grouping or coaching whatever the women was to vetting the women to know if it would be a possible blowback on him if he did take it there with them and have inappropriate conversation, inappropriate behavior in front of them. Now that's crazy, but I just think that the, some people are called or have a calling to preach and lead people when it comes to a spiritual concept, but you have to move past your brokenness, and I think a lot of them stay in it, and I think that's the difference, you know the pastor at the most largest church in Dallas, Texas. We ain't gonna say his name because we don't want to get sued, but they would what they call him, a power bottom. Ain't that what they say? That he was at somebody party and they said he's a power bottom. Now I ain't never heard that term in my life, but I could this think that you got to be going in to be called a power bottom. That you throwing that thing back.
Well, we
So
gonna say allegedly.
allegedly,
And
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
power
yeah.
bottom is some money that can go for hours taking it in the back door, basically.
I didn't even want to know the actual definition, but this is a fact that they said that man is a power bottom. That was crazy. But his teachings has touched so many people. His ministry has touched so many, have done so much, but he still allegedly, if that's true or not true, or if it's false, but whatever it may be, the allegations out there. If that's the case, he's touched so many people in his congregation. His ministry's touched so many people, but that brokenness is still there somewhere. The healing didn't take place fully, whatever the healing that needed to take place. And healing is a constant journey. So I just encourage whoever this man is, hey man, go get some therapy, go get some help before you run across the wrong woman and she blow your damn kneecap off. Cause that's what's gonna end up happening. He gonna run across the wrong woman. And he gonna do the same thing like you just said he was doing when it came to you. But this woman gonna have a pistol on her and she gonna blow them knees out. And then he gonna be
and,
on TV.
and then also that show you right there that he likes to have sex in public. Like he has some kind of fetish with parking lots, malls, and things like that. Because he even mentioned he had mentioned Dillard's. Like he mentioned that one of like a fantasy for him is a department store. So he has a fetish with like this is deeper than just being horny because you got a young woman next to you. This man has a fetish for having sex outside. Now some people do. A lot of people do have fetishes for having sex outside. And that's cool, whatever you like. Some people got, they like public sex. They like sex where people can see them. They like the balcony sex, all that kind of stuff, which is cool. It's cool and whatnot. But it's like, I'm not like it's kids around. That's my only gripe. It's kids. It's kids. We can't be doing this kind of stuff with kids around.
So is the problem that you're saying it's just because it's kids around? That's why you don't like the public stuff because he did it in the area where it was kids. If it was just anywhere public, say a balcony or something like that, you'd have been fine with it.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, okay, here's my thing. I don't have no problem with somebody being freaky. Like you can be freaky and all that good stuff, but it's like you too old. I'm too old to be out here in the parking lot in broad daylight doing this kind of shit. I just feel like you gotta have some kind of decorum about yourself. Why can't you wait till you get home? If you want to jack off, just do it when you get home. That could
Yeah.
be your highlight of your evening. The fact that you cannot wait, the fact that I'm all the way pulling out the car parking lot, your head is pulled to the back, and I can see you. I'm sure anybody else can see. They probably think you sleeping. Your head is pulled to the back, and you busting it off. You can't wait to get home in the privacy of your own home where you got your lotion, you got everything you need, your TV. You can't even wait. That's my problem.
Some of them young urges don't lead people. I mean, I know I got plenty of uncles and maybe even fathers that are some nasty. Older friends we know that is nasty. Old ladies nasty. Um, I get the privacy going home and all that stuff, but I can get that you just got that urge in your freakiness, and you wasn't the urge of the freakiness that he needed in his life because you ain't with that stuff that he's doing. Now, I did have a question for you, Shadow. Why did you stick around so long? Because that was my main thing I was thinking about. The first time you met him, he was saying wild stuff. You just okay, just brush it off. Sometimes you don't be listening to seeing the red signs, right? The red flags. But the second date, when you said you wasn't gonna talk to the man no more, but then you go to the bar with him, why did you do that?
Well, if I'll be completely honest, I went on with him again because he was gonna help me with my stuff. That's the real reason why I even gave him my number originally. Because, you know, where his office at is downtown. It's in a central location. He said I can come in there and put my business cards out there and in there. I can meet some, like the building that he works in, it's a bunch of office buildings. He's like, come up there, you can mark, and then also he has a marketing company. So he's like, I can help you market your business. So I was looking at it as a, something to get for myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was looking at it, okay, he a freaky frog. I'm gonna let him talk whatever he wanna say and he'll help me out. But I'm not gonna do nothing that he said. I'm gonna just basically finesse the situation and get what I need. And also, even with him talking about, okay, this is I know this person that does a pop-up shop at so and so, you can come there, blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay, this could help me a lot. And plus, tax season is coming up. He has a lot of clients, or he claims he has a lot of clients that have legal documentation. He does notary, but he don't do taxes. Most people who do taxes do notary too. So I'm like, boom, send your notary people my way. Send your people my way so I can make some money. So that's why I went out with him the second time. I didn't think he gonna whip the out. I thought he just talking freaky. But I didn't think he gonna go take it that far. Like I'm used to people talking freaky, but going I'm used to going into the gas station and being like saying something off the wall. So I thought he was just gonna be talking. I didn't think he gonna stand on business with it and really want it. you know.
See, my problem with that is this though, because they get a little deeper than that right now. If I get really truthfully with you, P Diddy asked you come do this freak off, but he gonna help you do your thing. You gonna do it?
I'm not because I don't want too many people.
Woo.
What you
I'll be if it was just Diddy, then I might, but I'm not doing it with Diddy and all his people. No,
okay? Because the reason I was asking it like that is because you was willing to sacrifice your integrity from from this man talking to you all types of crazy ways just because he said he might have a possibility of helping you with your business when you already knew you did not like this man whatsoever because he was doing too much.
correct, correct. So my thing was, I had my thing is, because I met people like him before that just talk, 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 talk. So I'm like, he not gonna get nothing out of me. I'm gonna let him talk. I'm gonna let him run his mouth, and we'll do and go from there. Like, but I never had nobody that just did what he do. Normally, they'll just talk, and then after a few times or a few conversations, and they realize you ain't feeling it, then they'll either slide their connections to you or they'll just stop talking to you, something like that. But he didn't do that. Like he was, he
On
he
this,
was on. He stood on, yeah, he was still on business about what, like what he want. Mind you, this man never. So he never, which is I guess the same thing. He never asked to have sex with me or anything. He asked me to. He never said, "Oh, you want to suck my." He never did that. He strictly said he likes sex, and he want to put it in my butt.
I I think what Zach is saying, and I didn't want to touch on it. I kind of stayed away from it. Zach is saying that he didn't ask you per se to have sex or to operate in sexual contemporary, but he was telling you, this is what I want to do. And if we do this, this is how I'm going to assist you going forward.
No,
It
he
sounds
never
like
said
to
that.
me, he didn't
He
say it
never he
verbatim.
never said it was an exchange for anything. He just was. He never said, "Okay, I'm gonna help you do this, and I'm gonna fuck you in the butt." He never said that. It was more so like, "All right, yeah, so this is okay. This is my day, blah blah." And oh yeah, I like having sex. Then he'll jump back into, and then oh yeah, like he never said, "Okay, I'm gonna do this for you." It was never nothing like that.
It
We're
was more
not.
so Shy trying to finesse the system and finesse that man, or looking to finesse him if she could handle everything that she wanted to do. I'm assuming. I don't want to speak on your behalf, Shy, but is that kind of what you was thinking?
Right. I didn't really want nothing out of him. Like I never asked him for money or nothing like that. I was not like that. Like I for initially when I first talked to him the first day, he had great conversation.
Yeah.
Like he got great conversation. He's very insightful. He's very insightful. So I was taking little gems from him and taking little tips from him originally. But he was throwing out the little sexual stuff like he didn't just come out and say, you know what I'm saying? Like he was like, oh yeah, because the last lady I was dating, she liked the swinger parties. He would throw it out there. He wasn't just saying like, Sean, do you want to go to swinger party? He never
Yeah,
said
he
that. So
testing the water, trying to see if you
he
cool.
taking my temperature.
Yeah. He was trying to see if you about that life, so he can take you do a little something if you want to do a little something.
See, this is the thing though, and I have to tell a lot of women struggle with this because, and I'm not saying that you do, Sha. I'm just saying women, this in general, and not all, but a lot of women do struggle with this. He didn't necessarily say verbatim, hey, I want to have sex with you. I want you to perform this sexual act. I want to do this. I want to do that. But he was giving you innuendos as to what he partakes in when it comes to sexual pleasure. And also, he was also giving you innuendos about his success as a businessman and an entrepreneur. That's why he kept a lot of conversation was surrounding sex and a lot of conversation was around business. One thing I can say about anyone who, and I'm speaking from experience with men or women who are very successful in a business aspect of it, because I've been approached by both men and women. I'll be honest with you, and I haven't had that, but we can throw some hands because I don't play like that. Uh, because they'll tell you, oh well, I do this, or I like swinger parties, or I dated this girl, we did this, or
Mm-hmm.
I like the back door, blah blah, because they're vetting you. They're letting you know if we get
Mm-hmm.
into this business relationship, this is what I expect from you. And that's what they're saying without saying it. And a lot of women struggle with that because they can't see the signs. And anyone who's listening, women, listen to this. Now, a lot of individuals who are predators, this is how they operate. They will tell you how successful they are, how they can help you, hey, they will assist you, and they will do those things, but it comes with a price. And you have to be able to see in between the lines, like Zach is saying, subtly. Like, Shy, at some point, you had to see in between the lines. But did you want to finesse the situation to benefit you, but not partake in the acts? Because I don't think blah. I think that's what Zach is leading to. If you can correct me if I'm wrong, though.
No, it was exactly what I was saying in the beginning. I like you saw the signs, but you were trying to get something out of it, or maybe make something better for yourself in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, when you saw the signs on the second date, that should have been enough. I wouldn't have
Right, right.
because the third one gave you opportunity where he's like, all right, I got her in the first one, I reeled her in. She was ready for the second day. I got her there.
Mm-hmm.
And then she still want to come for the third. So now I'm shooting my shot all the way. We about to see what we can get it going with. And if you would have went with it, that would have been
Mm-hmm.
position, and everything would.
Backdoor action. But so what I was another thing what I was saying was that I thought he was all talk. Like most of these men, they'll talk about it, like, but I thought he was just all talk. Like, I thought he was gonna just keep on talking about it a few more times. I didn't think he was really just gonna be like, okay, nah, I'm really gonna do this.
See, my thing and how I treat people in this world is I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Everything you tell me, I believe until you show me something otherwise. So if you say you're gonna do something like this and it's what you want to do, okay, cool. Let me let you do what you do because you supposed to be about that life now. Until I see that you ain't really doing what you saying you're doing, I'm gonna believe everything you tell me. So he told you he wants you back though, he's gonna do all that stuff. He was gonna do it. You gotta believe these people.
Well, but I get what Shai's saying too. Like, oh, he just blowing smoke. But a lot of predators or a lot of serial killers, they appear to be blowing smoke until they follow through on what they said. You have to take things what people say into a place of
Hmm.
seriousness because, like I keep saying, this could have went left. Like, what
Hmm.
if he did get sloppy drunk? I mean, like I said, most men are more powerful physically than a
Hmm.
woman anyway. I mean, if who could have popped you across the head, threw you in the back of his car, and got
Or
it
put something in
done.
my drink.
Yeah, yeah, and did anything like that. But I just, I'm gonna pray for him for sure because he needs some real help. But anyone who's listening to this, and you're a man or woman, pay attention to the signs because like I was at a conference this week, and they were talking about sexual abuse victims, and they had a survivor there, and she was talking about a guy who he said was very attractive, very successful, had kind of like this guy here, had business, was doing well, skyrise apartment, blase blase. She said, I mean, she just ignored the signs, and then she looked up. She was chained up in the room with 10 other girls, and
Mm.
it shocked me. I was like, "What? How you just wake up in the
Chained.
room, chained in the room?" You heard what I said?
Mm.
Chained
Days are
to a
great.
wall, chained to a wall, um,
Mm.
with 10 other girls. And she said, I just kind of like what you said. I just, I didn't think some of the things he was saying, the signs were there, but I just didn't believe that he was gonna follow through until he followed through. But unfortunately, she was drugged, and then woke up in the wild for a couple years. She was going through that, but now that young lady is safe and doing well in life, and now she's an advocate for it, which is great. Um, but it was the simple concept of not believing somebody for what they say, because she know the man from a can of
Mm.
paint. You didn't want a couple dates with him, and he cute, look good, successful. Nah, man, you gotta. If someone say something crazy like that, like I went to a swinger party. And then I'm gonna, pull their peanuts out in the restaurant. Hey man, this man need help. He needs some help.
But yeah, that's all I was saying. Like you gotta believe people saying it. You gotta take your sign, read the signs, and if you know you're not about that life or want to do anything to do with that, you need to move around. Otherwise, if you're gonna keep going, be prepared for what you're getting into and don't be like, oh, this happened to me. Nah, you saw the signs, you ignored
Hmm.
all of this. So now this is the consequences of what happened. Everything you do got a consequence to it.
He's right. Yeah, both of y'all are right. I take that into account too. Both of y'all is definitely right. Definitely gotta us as women, we definitely gotta stop putting ourselves in situations like this to where things can go left.
Uh,
All right, y'all. I was in my group chat with a whole bunch of my friends, and we was talking about things and just talking about the election and everything and how things are going on in the world. And in the conversation of all the talks we were doing, we were talking about how some of us don't feel that we are affected by racism as our parents used to be and stuff like that anymore. So I was like, damn, what you mean you don't feel like racism there? Like we had to start getting deep into the conversation with everybody and like seeing what's going on. Then we was like, you know what? I envy you because you never seen racism yet. Then yeah, you've seen racism. You see people look at you because you date a white girl, they checking you, mugging you, and that white girl family say something to you, and you just brush it off like it's not nothing. But it's actually something, like it's actually real intent behind it. We just say, you're not going to touch me, you're not going to fight me. The question comes down to this. Many Black men and women today feel that racism they face is different from what their parents and their grandparents endured in the 1960s, especially with how they experience things with social media, economics, and inequalities, and the institutional barriers. Do we think actually that racism is different now than it was for our parents, or do we feel like it's the same or indifferent?
That's a
Very good topic. I'm gonna let you go ahead, Zach.
that's a trifold question though, Sha. I mean, is it the same or is it different or is it indifferent? I mean, it's not the same in some aspects, and in some aspects it is the same. And it's indifferent in some aspects, and it's different in some aspects. I mean, I think that they have that's a very convoluted question. And I can't really take a stance on either or. Honestly, and I don't like that because there's a lot of economic equality, employment and workforce equality, education, criminal justice, media perception. It's a lot. Um, Salary wage injustices. I mean, I think Sha, you was talking about DEI and how it's no longer, but it hasn't been no longer for a while. I think DEI was taken out in 2022, 2021. One of those. I don't. It's one of those years when DEI was officially taken out. Because I know the UT system was one who in Texas who started taking out DEI. And that's diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the biggest thing that they talk about now is equity. Everything is around equity, health equity, sustainable equity, financial equity, economic equity. It's so much equity, 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 but y'all took out diversity, inclusion, equity already. Um, it's
But it wasn't, but it's still illegal though. It's not gonna be illegal after Project 25. People been doing it. Like, I've
Mhm.
not gotten jobs before because of me being plus size. So people been doing it. People been doing it. But now with Project 25, it's gonna be legal to do so. That's the only difference. Like I said on the last one, I know somebody that got to run a grand scheme of money from her former employer for discrimination against her, and she was an accountant at an oil and gas company. She won a couple $100,000 from them for proving that they was proving that they was not practicing DEI.
Are we saying it's going to be illegal to sue the company for?
No, it's gonna be legal for them to do so. Like, basically on it say that now, okay, if you can prove your company is not treating you fairly based on gender, race, or whatever, you can sue them and be awarded money. Would it be off the table? You can't sue them. Like, they have the discretion to do what they want. They have the discretion to say, hey, China, she has this much experience, but Zack is a man. So we're gonna give Zack $40 an hour and we'll give China $30 an hour for the same job. They have the discretion now to decide and pick and choose who gets what now, because it's no longer illegal. Before it was legal. I mean, it's no longer illegal. Before it was illegal. I mean, before you can get, if you get caught, if you can prove it, just like my I was telling y'all a couple months ago on the podcast, the lady who has a high profile position at the department I was working for in the county, they got rid of her, but she threw a ruler, a stapler, something at somebody. She was making racial comments. She was hiring people that looked like her. With that off the table, they can no longer be like, "Oh, we noticed your whole team looks like you. What's going on with that?" They don't have to do that no more. They don't have to make the team, different flavors of the rainbow. We can all make the team white, or we can make the team all Hispanic, or the team. So them taking off the table, it goes with us too. So you start seeing companies that you work for, and the whole team is black, and they're no longer hiring white or Hispanic people. It apply to us too. So it's just not on their part. That's what they don't realize. We can start discriminating too with people we hire, or people that we do business with. We can do the same thing they're gonna do.
You know what, Zach? I'm gonna answer the question. Is it the same? No, it's indifferent. And this is why I say it's indifferent. Um, if we look at economics, although when our parents were whatever the age they was, they had like when my grandmother was alive and my grandfather when they lived, they had black banks. They had economic uh platforms for minority people, which was for black people, which helped them. Like if you think about it now, like research says since 2022, black families median salary range is 44,000. But when it comes to the Caucasian or the white counterparts, it's 285,000. That's a big gap. That's huge. That's significant. That's well above 50%. Um, so it's indifferent because it's a different battle that we fight now. You have rights to vote. You have rights to have access to the same restaurant as everybody else. It's not a black restaurant, white only, blacks only. We have all these access points, but now we fight a different beast in system. Now we have an economic system that's against us. We have a workforce system that's against us. Um, I think when it comes to executive leadership, I think it's only like 3.2% black and it's 70.4% uh white counterparts have executive roles versus black minorities. That's big. That's huge. So it's only 3.2%, but it's 70.4% when it comes to white Caucasian. That's huge. And executive leadership makes what decisions for organizations? Big decisions. When it comes to policy, when it comes to vision, when it comes to partnerships and contractual agreements, um, executive leaderships make that. Even when I think about board positions, and I'm on a board, I'm on two boards actually. I don't see a lot of people that look like me. It may be two. And if we do a vote, that's our politics. It's who knows who has the most influence, who gonna bring the most donor relations. If we're gonna have an event, who can bring in the most influential figures to benefit the organization. That's who has the most pull and the most say. And when it comes to that, because the board is we kind of guide the vision, and the chair of the board is the CEO supervisor. But that chair may have a direct line to a political organization or political party. So it's all politics. Um, and I don't see a lot of people that look like me in that position. I know some board chairs that look like me, but those who look like me, they got to play the game, as they say. You got to, dot your T's, dot your I's, cross your T's, because your position may soon be taken if you don't do something that's in the best interest of the CEO. It's not always the organization, it's the CEO. And I've seen where Caucasian CEOs may get fired or terminated, they're given a golden package. If a minority is terminated, they don't get a golden package. You get whatever was left in your PTO bank, your last check, and that's it. Now, a golden package is they pay you at your contract. Let's say you did 1 year, you had a contract for 5, they pay you 4 years. You really ain't got to work, but a minority don't get that same treatment. So I'll say it's indifferent now. It's a different system. Like what we have to face is it's more divisive. We have to be more strategic. We have to plan better. We have to mobilize better, be more collaborative. We have to really think outside the box to come against the barriers in front of us because it's not simply having a right to vote or having a right to education or having a right to go to the same restaurant. It's having sustainability of living now. The quality of life it's a different battle that we face. Um, and I think what you said, Shah, with I actually think it works in our favor that they took it away. For those who are in positions that look like me or you, in executive roles, now you don't have to diversify your leadership. You can have an all black leadership. You can have an all Hispanic leadership. You can have that and not raise questions. But are individuals who in that position, can they fight the politics that come with it? Because like I say, it's a different system in place.
I would say to me it's a lot different. Um, I say especially if you have parents that's born, let's say before 1970, it's a lot different. Like I had said, my mom was in elementary school when Martin Luther King was assassinated. She remembers hearing over the radio the announcement that Martin Luther King was assassinated. My mom remembers when she was very, very young, like 2 or 3, not say 2 or 3, let's say 4 or 5, sitting on the back of the bus in segregation. So I feel like it's a lot different because my mom went to a school. She went to a college. She went to Sam Houston, and Sam Houston had just begun letting black students attend their university when my mom was there. Sam Houston had just started to charter black programs and black organizations and NAACP and things like that had just arrived on that campus. Also in Huntsville, well, that was predominantly white, and this also was a dry county, so they would have to drive into other areas, like going to more toward Houston, to even frequent stores, and this is in the 70s. So I feel like it's a lot different now because yes, we have our own racism, but I feel like prior to Trump's first administration, the racism was more hidden with us. Like we live in a politically correct world. You know, growing up, even with our television program, growing up, they used to make fun of handicapped people. They had all these racial jokes, things like that. For a long time, that stuff was thrown to the back burner. You know, for a long time, you wasn't hearing nobody make fun of handicapped children, anybody with disabilities. You wasn't hearing people making racial jokes. We lived in on the surface a harmony in the world. On the surface, we did. On the surface, we did. On the surface only. But you know, of course, when you start peeling back those layers, you see the ugly heads of racism. But on the surface, it didn't look like that. It wasn't to me until Trump's first administration that he put the battery in their back that has led them to be more vocal the last almost 10 years that they was not prior to. It's been almost 10 years since his first inauguration. I mean his first year when he was first elected the first time. So I feel like that gave them more energy than they have now. I feel like when my mom and dad, my dad's younger than my mom, but when my parents was younger, like even my dad, he punched and he pistol whipped one of his white coworkers and called him the N word. So and this is when Mobile Refinery had unions, and they were kind of almost segregated units for their employees. So but my parent, I didn't grow up like that. I didn't grow up in like, I didn't grow up where it was blatantly obvious that the black people are here and the white people are there. I mean, for me, we didn't grow up like that. To me, like my mama called us, we're the AC babies. We're the technology babies. Anybody born in the from 1988 and after, we're the tech babies. We're the babies that everything that we use in today's society emerged during our era. We're millenniums. Our era is the era of every creation that we currently use right now, even AI. Well, not we. I guess you can't say AI. That's something I learned last night too about AI for another episode. But anyway, so yeah, so I feel like it was a lot different, but now I feel like they have not enjoyed it being different. So that's why they want to pull it back to how it was, say, in the 70s, where you had all these emergence of black programming. You know, the reason why we had shows like Good Times and things like and the Cosby Show, because they wanted black representation of families, because those things were stripped from us. Somebody had on a podcast I listened to last night, he was talking about how they stripped away the black family, how the black family, they got on assistant programs and you couldn't have a man in your house, and the dad would have to hide in the closet or he have to leave for the day. All the things that were quote unquote given to us was strategically given to us to tear us down, to pull us apart, to keep us down. So I feel like times have changed a lot. Like I said, right now in America, and this is another thing that they have done. This is another thing with this them taking away the Department of Education. Black women currently lead in the United States for the most entrepreneurs in America are black women. We have the most businesses. We have we're the leading entrepreneurs in America. Once you start stripping away education and FAFSA, do you know that majority of the FAFSA earners, I'm not FAFSA, majority of the Pell Grant earners are minorities. So once you start ripping those things away, how many? It's gonna be a lot of young black women and men that can't go afford to go to college, or can only can take one or two classes and have to a 4 year degree gonna take them about 8 years because they can't go to take their classes without their Pell Grant. All this stuff they're doing now is they're strategically trying to take us back by taking away certain things. And so I feel like we were living in a time where it's changing, but I feel like they have shown us that they are trying to take it back to how when my mom was in school and how it was back then, But I think our world has changed. Like, I've worked with people. My first job, fresh out of college, was an IT company, and I worked with the VP and the director of human resources. We was all in the same office, and the VP, he was a white male, and the director was a white male, and the rest of us was minorities. And the VP, he was actually a gay male, but he hid it. He hid it a lot because he didn't want to be ostracized. He was the vice president of human resources. He didn't want to be ostracized by the people above him and things like that by hiding his sexuality. But at the same time, when my mom was in my age, she didn't have work in the office with diversity like we see right now. So that's my take on it. I wish I wish we would I wish we would go. I wish we could elevate beyond where we were at with more diversity, more inclusion. With more. I've said this before. I don't think any of my bosses have been black. I don't think. My last director was from India, but I don't think I have ever had a black woman as a director of any company I worked for. And I worked in IT, I worked in ed tech, I've worked in healthcare, and I worked in government facilities. So I've never had a black woman director, but I've had women directors. Yeah, at the county. I didn't want to say the county. I didn't want to say Harris County in case anybody listening. But yeah, Harris County. But yeah, I mean, I've had women, but I've never had a black woman. So it's like some things, but I feel like we progress so much, and it's a shame that they want to pull us back.
I feel like a lot of us are just looking past the racism and we've become comfortable with it. And what you becoming comfortable to the racism, you believe things are changed or you believe things are indifferent. I believe y'all are not looking at what's happening every single day that happens in our country, and y'all feel like, or maybe I just become so numb to it that you don't realize it anymore. I mean, we had George Floyd screaming for his mom on the floor, talking about, I can't breathe. I mean, I can tell you instances where I've been pulled over driving black. LP can tell you instances where he's been pulled over driving black. We've had guns to our heads. We've had people trying to search our car to tell us we got drugs in our car and everything. We grew up in West Texas. I grew up in Middle Wells, Texas. Down the street from me in Middle Wells, Texas was Stephenville, Texas, where they had a KKK rally on the side of the road. Hyco, Texas ain't too far from my house. Comanche, Texas ain't too far from my house. We live in Houston. Jasper, Texas down the street where they drug a. They literally put this man behind a truck and drug him with a chain. Ain't nothing different. We just keep looking past it. And that was my problem. What I had with my friend, I said, bro, you look past it, but it ain't nothing different. It's looking you dead in your face and you just saying do something. Yes, we are not like our parents. In our parents' time, we had more fear. They had more fear than we have now. See, our parents had more fear because the white people would do a lot more crazier things back then. They'll go put a cross on your front yard and burn that mug. We don't have that fear right now because we got guns like they got guns. We got things like they got things. But it is there. All of them ain't always gonna be wild as some people back then. But please believe me when I tell you them KKK rallies, them Aryan Brotherhoods, all them boys that you afraid of, they there. They waiting for their time. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing different. They all in politics. They all in higher ups. We can talk to it all day. I know people all up in higher authorities that do things. Ain't talking about the DIE or DEI. That ain't no good right now because I see every day in the new hiring system in my job how everybody who's hiring hire people to look just like them or act like them. And then wonder why stuff ain't getting done because you hire people to look just like you and do stupid stuff like you do. You ain't got no diversity in the group. Ain't nobody helping help. Ain't nobody doing nothing right. They come and doing the same thing you do because you don't do your job. You hire somebody to come do the same thing just like you do because they look just like you and they act just like you do. And you comfortable with that. Ain't nothing changed. I implore people to speak to your parents, to speak to your grandparents or your great grandparents if they still alive, and ask them what happened back then. When I had that interview with my mom about the 10 questions, I asked her how was life back then. I asked my dad how life was back then. Well, he told me he had to have race riots out here living in Houston, fighting white people every day in school because you went to a all black school, white school, and they segregated, they added y'all together. It ain't no different. We doing the same wars every day, just quieter, alone. Open our eyes and look at some of the things that's around you and see how it's not really different and how we just look past it because you're numb to it. Numbness don't change nothing. It just lets it sit there and linger until it blows up.
Well, brother, you didn't
Yeah, yeah.
mm,
You didn't let the chopper sing for sure.
that well, that's why originally I said it's a threefold, trifold question. It's kind of convoluted because in some aspects it is the same, and in some aspects it's not. Um, then when I say it's not as far as us having, because then they didn't have as many rights as everybody has now constitutionally. But in some aspects, it is still the same. We still do have racial organizations in our federal republic. And but you know what, Zach, you did say something that's right. I think for me, you and maybe Shy, since I know for me, since we grew up in the state of Texas and in the demographic and the location in which we were located, we saw a lot of racial organizations and we kind of had to navigate racism on a daily basis. So we are kind of numb to it. I think it comes second nature to us how to navigate and how to handle it. Um, because you're right. We've seen Hico, Texas, where they had a coffee cup cafe, spelled in all cases. They had Proud Boys in Fort Worth, Texas. They did have the KKK in Stephenville. I mean, I went to a school where we played against Stephenville. I went to a mostly black school. We were always good in sports, and the biggest game would always be us versus them, and it'd be one side to be all minority, the other side to be all white. Um, and they may have a couple back athletes on the other side of the ball, but that was just because they were good at their sport. Um, and it was heavily, heavily policed. I want to say that it was heavily, heavily policed, and I mean, police were strapped because of the potential of someone getting into it.
Even
Um,
when my school played your school, it was heavily.
Heavily policed,
I was at a
heavily
predominantly
policed.
white school where I'm a token, like he's talking about them kids in Stephenville, playing a predominantly black school, and everybody be scared. Oh, we gotta go play what's a what a Fort Worth school. You got all them black man. They just like you. What you
Yep.
talking?
It was heavily policed. You're right. I think for our generation, the millennials, because we had so many rights, access to things that our parents or our grandparents didn't have access to, that we're thankful for that. But we are kind of accustomed to the other things. Um, and we also moved different. I think last week or whatever, this week or last, whatever it was, whenever it was announced Trump was the electee for the presidential candidacy of the United States. Uh, Somebody said at work to me, "Oh, they got a text message going around telling me some the plantation back open," and I was like, "Well, I ain't working at no plantation. I didn't go get a doctoral degree to go work at a plantation." My mom, and my dad said all the time that Your generation different. Y'all just y'all think whatever y'all say go. Or y'all feel like y'all entitled to this or entitled to that. In some aspect, I think they're right because we feel like we worked hard just like you to get to this and this and this. I deserve this just like you deserve it. Um, if I might have worked even harder than you to get where I'm at. So nah. So I definitely think you're right. We do play a blind eye. Um, and a lot of those organizations, man, you brought back some memories, boy. I remember them times when we got pulled over and then they had guns pointed at us just for the speculation of we ain't even got no firearm on us. They just, well, we smell flavored cigars. What you got your gun pointed at us for? Because you smell flavored cigars. There ain't no reason to pull your gun out. And but this how we talking to them like that. So I mean, it shows the resilience and the combativeness because we're not gonna take the being mistreated, but it also shows that it's still a prevalent issue when it comes to brutality and harming black people. It just shows that it still shows it, but it also shows that we with it too, because we ain't stupid. If I got flavored cigars and did you find some? Take your so and so on somewhere. So yeah, you like Shot said, you let the chopper sing today, brother.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't want to make it seem like nothing's changed. We do have some changes, you know. We do have inclusion in a lot of things now that our parents and our grandparents probably never had, and they fought so hard, they rioted so hard, so we can have these type of goals and abilities and laws for our kids and our grandkids for them, or say, but I do feel like I said, we are numb to a lot of things that are happening, and I feel like we really need to take a look back and really see and sit down. If you really sit down and look at things, you'll see that ain't nothing changed really. It done got swept under the rug and it's still sitting there. It's like when you tell you like sometimes when you was a kid, your mama tell you to clean the room and you throw things under the bed and something like that, hide and you don't clean it up all the way. That's kind of how it is. It's just it's there, but it's just hidden out somewhere, not in a clean room. You know what I'm saying? And man, I just think it's crazy. It's just crazy. And even talking about this, the reparations coming up? Did y'all hear about that? Or Trump said he gonna give people that were discriminated in high school and schools and all that stuff
White
reparations.
people.
What you mean? We can't get my 40 acres in a mule?
Nah, that yeah, reparations for white folk. He said, no, the guy that's leading the charge on that, he said that if you are a white citizen, I forgot what the act is called, but if you're a white citizen and you've been reprimanded or anything, he said that he's sick of white people. He's sick of racism, white people being treated unfairly.
Which is crazy because you have the ability to give them reparations for what they have did against they self,
Mhm.
but yet you can't give us reparations for
Mhm.
illegal taking us, enslaving us, and keeping us in chains and do your work and building your cities and building your country the way it is today. We can't get our 4 acres or 40 acres in the mule, but these people gonna get paid.
Beyond that, though, Zach, this country was taken from Native, and me and Sha, our grandmother, which is her mom's mom and my dad's mom, was Native American. So, and a lot of us who are Black descent in this country have Native American heritage. Why don't we have those reparations as well? You have to go through a lot of different changes to prove your nativeness or your association with some tribe. We all know that this country was here, but it was taken from people who were already here. Then, on top of that, you bring another demographic of people here to assisting developing what you took. You brought your drugs, your diseases, your weapons, and took something from people and said it was yours. Not to mention, how can you come to another place, step on it, and say, oh, well, I bought this? How can you buy it? It ain't for sale. It's like me going to a house, walking in, sitting at somebody's table, and saying, well, I just bought this. Well, hell, it was never for sale, so how I buy it? Where was the transaction at? Where was the money given? You can't. And so that is another aspect of it that's never talked about because they say Black American, Black African American, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No, let's go to the root of it. The root of it is this was Native American country. Not ain't gonna say Native American. This Native Indian country. That's who had this. It was taken. It wasn't discovered. It was taken. That's why they took Christopher Columbus Day away. Because he discovered it. How can you discover something that's for people already here? That don't make sense. And then you bring your diseases that are foreign, kind of like COVID, that are foreign to another demographic of people, and guess what? They start dying. They go through a process of dying. Then everybody got to catch up and fight it off. Then you have advanced weapons, like nuclear weapons. If I ain't never seen a powdered gun, and then you shoot me, and my cousin, damn, what? That's magic. No, you laughing, man. I'm for real. I've never seen that before in my life. I got knives over here, spears. I'm sharpening it, and you over here shooting pellets. And you done popped my cousin, and I'm looking, the white man magic. That's what they said, white man magic. They didn't know it was guns. You didn't shot you know what I'm saying? How can I fight that? I don't even know how to fight it. You 200 yards away from me, pow, pow, pow. Y'all letting it fly. All I got is arrows and spears. I can't throw that far.
Mm-hmm.
And now my cousin dead. And now I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? Because
I'm looking at you like, oh.
Yeah. They say it's white man. Oh, they kill us for white man magic. Man, they got bullets. We don't know what that is. You didn't came over here with all this and you didn't took something. And we forget that that's how this nation was founded. It was founded by taking. And somebody told me this in politics. The biggest fear that white people have is that what they took is taken back.
Mm-hmm.
That's their biggest fear. Reparations will never be given equality because if it's given, then you have the opportunity for what you took to be finally taken back.
Right. And you got the opportunity to mobilize. They already know that we better than them as far as athleticism. We smarter than the Africans developed a lot of things in Africa before they was even in America. They already know these things about us. If we was to ever get to that point where we can just really mobilize and really just make it happen, like first of all, scientists already have already determined that there will not be a dominant race by year 2033, something like that. That we're all gonna be they're no longer gonna be the dominant race, and that's something that they're in fear of. That's why they stopped abortions because I think it's like I think it's like over 75% of abortions in America are white women, not black women, especially not Latina women, because we know this is not being racist or prejudiced, but Latina women don't have abortion. Like we kind of know that, like they have a lot of children, and black women typically don't have abortion either because of religious belief. So it's white women out here that's getting rid of three babies. It ain't us. It ain't us.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
I
you
can
right
see
about
that. We the ones always on the stuff, but I want to say something too. There's a law actually about what you talking about taking stuff. How you just walk in somebody's house and take it, and it's a law that happens a lot that people really don't pay attention to unless you into real estate or trying to get into real estate. But that squatters right, that's crazy work. Once again, right into our Gemstones podcast. Our IG is Gemstones Podcast. You can reach out to me, zdurst25. You can reach out to Shy on her Instagram. Shy, what's your Instagram real quick?
It's Charmarie. It's CHYMARIE __, and that's on all platforms.
You can reach out to my boy Lance at Flash Parker, and you can reach out to Gemstones Podcast once again at our IG, or you can reach out to us at gemstonespodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys. Please continue to write to us, and we can keep putting y'all stuff out here so we can keep giving you information. And the information we give you, we might get somebody help from one of our people in the comments or something like that. But just keep writing to us so we can all keep helping each other and keep dropping gems for each other. But after that, that's our show for today, y'all. We had a great show. It's probably gonna be a two-part show for you guys. We love talking to y'all guys, and we can't wait to see y'all guys next time. But peace out, and we love you.